Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Social Media Help Desk here at KWSM, a digital marketing agency. I'm Stephen Wagner. I'm the Director of Operations. Today I am joined by Ivana, who's one of our content editors, and Kason, who is also one of our content editors. And we've got some really great stuff today. We're going to be talking about why videos on landing pages are really important. We're going to be talking about which social media channels are used by which generation, because there is a difference, but there might be a little caveat to that. It might not be as different as you might think. And then we're actually going to be starting though by talking about some things that are in the news. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. These social media channels are always rolling out new features, right? Yes. I mean, like every week there's something new coming out. We're always staying right on top of it, and so there's some pretty interesting things. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually LinkedIn, and this is actually a really cool new feature that I was actually pleasantly surprised by, because a lot of these new features, I don't know about you guys, but I look at them and I'm like, that's like, who's going to use that?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But I think that this one from LinkedIn actually might be a winner, and it's called Open for Business. So LinkedIn Open for Business.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
And so what it is, it's a marketplace that helps freelancers and business owners find new clients. So essentially what it is me as an individual could put some services that I offer, or a service that I offer, on my LinkedIn profile. And then someone could be searching for, let's say, digital marketing services or whatever that might be, whatever service you provide. And LinkedIn now is going to have that as a capability of connecting those people.
Okay.
And so it's pretty interesting to me, because whenever you think about LinkedIn search, it's all about searching for people, right?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
for businesses. But this is really going to be now focused a little bit more on finding services.
I like that because at least LinkedIn for me, it's a lot of networking with people I already know. And I don't really get outside of my scope of my coworkers or my friends. And so I think, if I had a small business or something, I think that'd be a perfect opportunity to reach out to people that you really don't know, or that could, potentially be your customers.
Yeah.
And they could be like anywhere around the world too, which I think is, very valuable.
I agree.
You have to think too, we have so many clients that they're looking for more businesses, for themselves. Like, if they're not necessarily looking for staffing or anything, but they're like, hey, we want to connect with more businesses, and what better way to do that than,
Yeah. I agree. I think that it's a really cool feature. I think that there's a huge potential here. I think that this is like taking a direct aim at some companies like Upwork and other companies that, like, there are a lot of freelancers there.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if this feature, they've got like a large, robust plan that is potentially going to be rolled out over the next couple of years, where it becomes like a whole separate thing there.
Yeah, I think that's like a really good idea actually, because if I was looking for a tailor something to tailor a dress, and just looking on Google, like, it's so hard to know if they're good or not or whatever. I mean, you have Yelp reviews, but sometimes those aren't as reliable and things like that. So I think this is a really good way to actually get to know the person behind the service and get to know the business on a different level than what you would just see on Google search. So
Right. Well, and you have the added benefit of your network there,
exactly.
right? And so if you were looking for,
you could recommend people or something. Yeah.
Exactly. If you were looking for like an accountant or something like that, and you found this guy and he's connected to 10 people, you could message them and be like, hey, do you know this guy? Do you use this guy? And then you could get some, more direct feedback that way.
Yeah, and there's no better business than word of mouth.
No,
So
absolutely.
that's the best type of referrals.
Absolutely. So take a look at this new feature. They've just been rolling it out. There's some information about it. There's a new place on your profile where you would actually enter in your service that you offer, and so and that's it. So take a look at that. It's called LinkedIn Open for Business is the name. Open for Business. So take a look at that. So let's move on to YouTube. So YouTube, obviously, a video streaming platform. Tons of videos on there. Tons of users. Right, we're gonna get into this
more, but.
About how much video is uploaded and used and crazy. Everyone knows this, right? So they're rolling out something called super stickers, and this is actually a really interesting thing. This is really getting pretty, in my opinion, really deep into the influencer fan base, right?
Yes.
And so I know, Casey, you kind of looked into this a little bit more.
Yes.
Can you give us a little overview of kind of what these are?
Okay, so basically what you do is, let's just say I'm a fan of an influencer. Like, it could be makeup, whatever, gaming. So if I was a super fan, I can, write a message, and then I can pay money and get my post to go to the top, so my influencer can see that I'm really truly a fan. And based on the amount that you spend, it has a countdown ticker that it slowly goes down based on how much you pay. And you can pay up to $500, like 99 cents to $500, just to figure out based
Just
on how much you want that to be.
To get
there.
your comment on a video.
Yes.
To
higher.
get higher. So
Yes,
that more
basically.
people look at your comment.
Exactly,
Right?
and it's mainly for live streaming and stuff like that. But it's just,
I mean,
it's just
honestly,
crazy.
it doesn't surprise me because the audience on YouTube is so dedicated, and they're so that is their those influencers are huge. They're just like reality TV stars, and so this doesn't surprise me that they would try to do something like this.
No.
And I think people would actually be willing to pay.
Oh, absolutely.
Personally, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
I
even
would.
look at comments, or I don't ever watch live streams. I do love YouTube, but I'm not really much to comment on a live stream or something like
Right.
that. But there are a lot of people, even a lot of fans that become famous just because they're fans of someone else. And I see that a lot on Twitter too.
Yeah.
They have fan pages and whatnot. Everyone's always talking about a certain influencer, and so I could totally see people paying for that, which is so crazy.
Yeah, and this is actually a lot of people are saying that this is kind of pulled from Twitch, which is a
the gaming one, right?
gaming streaming platform. So that's a whole nother conversation.
I'm wondering if they're gonna have to somehow monitor the comment, because what if you pay all this money, or someone pays all this money and it's a bad comment, something that's could be mean to the influencers or something.
That's
I
true.
think I read about
They
this.
probably have to have some sort of regulation.
Yeah.
But if you're spending all that money, then
Yeah. No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now I definitely agree that there's got to be some monitoring on that, and so there's definitely some things that need to happen. So creators, so if you are a creator, if you have a channel, you can actually have this feature, but you have to. It's certain markets. You have to have 1,000 subscribers or more. So it's kind of a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
But it can be a great tool. And again, it's on the live currently just on the live chat feature. So that's something to look out for. So interesting, right?
Yeah, I feel like it'll be big in the gaming, because a lot of the gaming people do live.
Yeah.
Not so makeup, it's more tutorials and things like that, so I don't think they'd be doing too much of that, but I could definitely see that in the gaming industry for YouTube.
I agree. So let's go to Facebook. So Facebook, there's a feature in Facebook, so if you manage a lot of pages, it's called the Creator Studio. And so this is a place where it's essentially, you can create posts and then post them to multiple pages, or you can just easily sort of manage all of your pages in one spot. And so this is a feature that, it's been around for a little bit. It's not heavily used by a lot of people, but they're building out more features. And it's really, the way that I look at it is it's trying to take the place of the Hootsuites of the world and all these third-party posting services. And they're trying to make it a little bit easier. So if you do manage a lot of pages, that you can post them all from a single location. Anyway, so that's what Creator Studio is. And Creator Studio's got a few features. Basically right now, it just allows you to post your pages, right? But they're starting to roll out some new features, and it's gonna be all about insights and metrics. And so essentially, publishers and creators will clearly see how their content is distributed across Facebook and be able to optimize for each source. So you can actually see where it's being viewed, what demographics, locations, things like that.
Okay.
And so it's just giving a little bit more feedback and analytics just right in where you're actually creating the content.
I think this is good for, say you have a business that has multiple locations and you want them to all have the same post, but, people are gonna be, say we have, our Atlanta, they're 3 hours ahead. So they're gonna see posts at a different time than we are. So I think that's good to have that type of insight if you do have different locations, because your audience is gonna react differently you know, depending on where you are. So that would be good.
Definitely. Yeah, so if you guys are using Creator Studio, this is something to look out for. If you're not, check it out, because it's actually got some really cool features, and it's definitely something that Facebook's putting some resources into to continue to expand its capabilities.
Yeah.
So that's what's in the news this week. Let's talk about video on landing pages. I love talking about video.
Yes.
Kaysen, why don't you take it away? Tell us about some benefits of using video on landing pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So, I mean, I feel like everyone here loves video.
Yes.
I really like video. But it's also one of those, things that it makes it more entertaining. So when you're scrolling down your news feed and you see a video, you're more likely to probably stop, because something about it might catch your eye. Versus, you know, a picture, it's like, it's just still, it's like it might be interesting, but you're only going to look at it for so long, you know? So that's one of the benefits, is it's entertaining. 2, it speeds up the trust factor. So, you know, when you watch a video, it seems like you're almost there, and you get to interact with people, almost kind of like visually. Like if you do a web conference or something, it's like you feel more trusting of that person because you can put a face to the text.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes with photos, like if you see a photo of you know, someone like an accountant or something, you don't really get a feel of who that person is, or even like a lawyer, you know, like you have to put a lot of trust into someone who's a lawyer if you're going to use their service.
Yeah.
And so if they have a video, you can at least have a little, you know, kind of get a sense of their demeanor, you know, what type of personality they have, things like that. So I agree, the video is definitely more important as far as, you know, that trust factor is super important, especially if you're just trying to find someone online, or, you know, whether it's a landing page or anything like that.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. So yeah, another thing is, like I kind of mentioned before, with video, people are more likely to look at that a lot longer, which would also be a lot more helpful if you want people to come to your page and stay on there longer and really get a feel for your company, your services, and
Yeah.
everything too.
Well, and that helps with SEO, right? Because the longer
Exactly.
people stay on your page, Google sees that page as like a better page. It's got more authority to
Right,
it.
right.
And so, yeah, definitely adding a video to it is great for search engine optimization.
Yeah, I feel like it encourages people to, like, after they watch the video, to click on those, you know, other things to learn more and just kind of, you know, get a feel more on the website or whatever you have. So
Yeah.
Very
definitely.
true. And then the last thing is, by having a video, your audience can really get a feel for what you do. Kind of like what you were saying with the lawyers and stuff, you kind of get to know what services they offer, but also you can demonstrate, like, you know, if you have products or services, you can show how to use that product. And like, even we were kind of talking about influencers earlier, but you know, on YouTube, it's like you can really see like how a makeup product works, or how this game is that you're
yeah,
playing.
which I think
So,
that's why YouTube is so popular. Like you really get to see, like, you know, if I buy a new makeup palette, I want to know how to use it. You know, what colors are gonna look good with the other colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or even something like, I don't know why I thought of this, like a juicer. Like sometimes, like I just bought a juicer and I didn't know how to use it at first. So I went on and tried to find the video of the company, and they teach you how to use it. And so like stuff like that, you know, some products are really complicated, or, you know, there's also things about a product that you probably didn't know, like they had different type of capabilities or things like that, that video could really help with. So
Absolutely. Well, and even on like e-commerce sites, they always say that product pages with videos on them convert a lot better, because people, even if it's simply just like a shoe and they're just like turning the shoe in front of the camera, you get to see it kind of from all angles, as opposed to just even like 10 pictures, static pictures. It's not as good as like a 30-second video of you like turning that shoe in all angles.
that's so true. I feel like I've noticed that a lot more on like just online shopping, because I love to online shop, and like a lot of like women's clothing. You know, it's really hard to see what the outfit will actually look like, and so, you know, a lot of them now have like the models walking around, like turning around, so you can see like all the angles of the dress or whatever they're wearing, and that's definitely way more helpful than just seeing a front picture of the dress. You know,
like car shopping too. You just see, like, you can like move the car around, but it's like if someone's actually test driving it, like you can actually see how it runs, you know, and you're more likely to feel comfortable with them in that car.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, and so videos on landing pages are great, because if you've got a landing page, you're driving traffic to it. You know, a video is a great way to do all the things we just talked about. You know, it's a great way to add a little bit more personality And we've definitely found that landing pages with videos on them convert at a lot higher rates. So something to look at. And I just want to add a quick note here. Not any video will do. We should add a caveat.
That's very true.
Good video does all of these things.
High quality professional videos.
Because bad video will do just the opposite of all the things that we've just mentioned.
It can hurt you just as much.
Yeah. So be sure to invest in your video because it actually is very much worth it. Thank you, Kason. That's great. So Ivana, let's talk about social media channels. Let's talk about different generations because you know, we've got all these different generations. Pretty much everyone's on social media now. Yeah. But as a business owner, if you're targeting different generations, how do you know which is the right one to be on?
Well, the good thing about social media is that there's so many platforms that there's really a place for everyone. And I mean, I think it really goes to show that social media is kind of an integral part of everyone's lives now. And so what I kind of did is I sectioned off by generation and just kind of studied their behaviors and seeing where they are, which I think will really help businesses figure out, you know, depending on your target market, where you should be on social media. You know, if your target market is baby boomers, and you know, you probably should be focusing on certain channels that they're on, you know, they're active on, so you can at least reach them in the right way. So, starting with baby boomers, they're definitely the fastest growing users on social media. Yeah. They're the ones with the least amount of internet experience, and so, you know, their main goal to be you know, on the internet with social in general is to stay in touch with their family and friends. You know, they didn't have that growing up, so I think that's something that's very important. And so, you know, one of the places that they can do that is Facebook. And so, you know, most baby boomers are on Facebook. And then the second one they're also on is YouTube, because a lot of them want go to YouTube for like how-to videos and things like that. Like we were saying, videos in general are just so much easier to figure out how to learn, you know, that educational aspect instead of reading. Reading takes a lot more time. You can just watch a 2-minute video. So as of February of 2019, 70% of baby boomers use YouTube and 68% use Facebook. So that is a large chunk of baby boomers that are using those channels. And so if you are targeting those type of people, those two channels are definitely places that you want to be active on, because that's where they are.
That's higher than I thought. 68% on Facebook. You know, the interesting thing about the 70% use YouTube is like, to me, a YouTube user and a Facebook user are kind of different, right? Because YouTube, you can pretty passively watch a video, and it's counted as a user, right? Yeah, right. But Facebook, you actually have to have an account and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so that's interesting though, that they're pretty much equal. Yeah. But 68, that's high. I know. That's like a lot.
And like, I mean, they use it for different purposes, you know. So like for Facebook, they use it to really get in touch with their friends and things like that. So if you have a business that, you know, has to do with more of that type of behavior, then I would say go with Facebook. You know, with YouTube, they want to be educated. They're learning, you know, different how-tos, things like that. So if you have a service that would help them in some way, YouTube would be perfect, you know. So just kind of the direction that you want to go in. Next one would be Gen X. So, you know, they're right after the baby boomers. They kind of navigate the online world a little bit differently. They do have a little bit more of a taste of the internet, not as much as baby boomers, definitely not like millennials or Gen Zs, but they definitely stick to the platforms that they know. But they're also a little bit digitally curious, and so sticking to the platforms that they know, like Facebook, you know, similar to the baby boomers. They want to see their family and friends on there. They want to connect, you know, people they went to high school with or whatever. But they also are digitally curious. They're on Instagram because their kids are on Instagram, and so, you know, they want to figure out, like, what are my kids doing on there? Like, why are they like, you know, their faces buried into their phones right now, scrolling through all these pictures. You know, so those are the top two for Gen X: Facebook and then Instagram.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they kind of have a mix of both.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it is kind of a mix of both, and like it's interesting that, you know, Facebook is still just, you know, dominant.
Oh yeah, Facebook always will, and it's kind of funny. I mean, my dad is in this generation. It reminds me of my dad because Facebook and Instagram are his favorite channels for social. He loves his Instagram and he loves his Facebook. He's always actively posting on both. So.
Well, your dad is Gen X?
Yeah.
Okay. Your dad Gen X as well?
No, he's actually a baby boomer.
Oh yeah.
My mom, on the other hand,
okay.
Oh, got
Gen
it.
X.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on the older.
Boomers for sure.
Yeah.
So, that's
funny.
Yeah.
The next would be Millennials, everyone's favorite. So, to some surprise, Millennials are actually slowing down their time on social media. I think they were the ones to really grow up with it more interactively, and so I think they use social media more for they want genuine interaction from their the brands that they associate with. They're not really passively scrolling through like Gen Xers would be, but they started using Facebook more than any other channel. I think that just goes to show for Facebook in general, like even though everyone always says, oh, Facebook's slowing down, things like that, like actually not true. They're very strong. A lot of people are using Facebook. And Instagram was a very close second. And for them, really it's about finding those brands and those people that are actually going to give them real connections.
Yeah.
Instead of just posting,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, Millennials, Facebook was like the original social media channel, and it sort of like rolled out, with the millennial generation.
Exactly. I think that's why they expect more, because like they know what it's like and they've grown up with it, and so I mean, a lot of like they can they get through the BS, like they know like what's good and what's not, and so they think they're a little more particular with their content. So you really have to grab their attention a little bit more. Next would be Gen Zs. So the Gen Zers are just saturated in the online world. Since birth they've known the internet. They don't know anything different, and they know their way around social media very well. So their top channel, which is to no surprise, is YouTube, and then it would be Snapchat, and then Instagram. But for them, YouTube is almost like another streaming service. It's almost like a Netflix or a Hulu. Like they look up to those influencers like they would a movie star. They follow their lives, and I think that the reason that they love them so much is because they're real people and they show their real lives on their YouTube. And so, that's like the main place. I think Snapchat and Instagram, yes, definitely more, and I'm sure TikTok will be up there soon too. But YouTube is definitely their number one place.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And it makes it sense from like just like entertainment standpoint.
Exactly.
Like you're saying, like YouTube and these influencers are like the new celebrities.
They really are. I mean,
stars,
and they make just as much money as real celebrities do. They basically are celebrities. So.
Yeah, well, and a lot of these YouTube shows they get more views and more viewers than like a lot of broadcast like TV shows, and so it's kind of crazy that it's it's just an online TV show.
It's crazy.
And they're getting more viewers than a show on ABC or something like that.
It's just funny to me. Like they really do see that as like another, like that's just like their TV.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I just didn't realize it though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I mean, once you explained it, it makes complete sense. But you always think about like Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat, but you don't really think about YouTube as much. But it totally makes sense.
Well, I think it's interesting. Thank you very much, because it's interesting because Facebook is still like dominant.
Yeah,
right?
It's always the number one contender.
And like you always hear these news stories and people saying, "Oh, it's not as popular anymore. It's winning popularity." And it might not be growing as fast as it used to grow, but it's still growing. It might not be as popular or have the market that it used to have, but it's still the number one.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's always going to be leading.
Yeah, and so if you're marketing to Gen X, Gen Z, Millennials, things like that, boomers, it's definitely important to look at these channels and see what your target audience is spending their time on.
Yeah.
Because if you're going after a baby boomer, like probably don't want to do Instagram ads.
Exactly.
Probably don't want to like do that because they're not really spending their time.
Yeah, and you would just be wasting your efforts and your money, And with each social channel, there's just different behaviors with each one. So you just kind of have to study, what type of behaviors are people doing on Instagram. It's going to be so different than what they're doing on LinkedIn or what they're doing on YouTube. And so, depending on those behaviors, that really shapes that person. And so, each age group is going to act differently. So I think, just really knowing where your audience is really going to help you create a social media strategy that's actually be effective.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Ivana.
Of course.
And thank you, Kaysen. We had a great time here today. Every Tuesday, 12:30, we do Social Media Help Desk live on Facebook. We also post it to our YouTube channel, so if you want to check it out there and subscribe there, please do so. And until next time, I hope you have a great week.